Hello friends, let us continue with the poem Desiderata by Max Ehrmann, and today it's possible that we'll complete our reading with some kind of glossary and analysis of the poem. I read, be yourself, true to be yourself. Okay, don't try to pretend that you are something else. So, behave as you are, be yourself, true to yourself. Especially, do not feign affection. In each, as it's a didactic poem, there are instructions in each and every line of the poem for an ethical behavior, for a conduct that is morally good. So people are here suggested to be themselves. The poet is telling us to be yourself. And further he says in the next line, do not feign affection. Feign means pretend. Pretend what we are not. Okay. So he says, the poet says, do not feign affection. Affection, fondness, liking for something. So he says, don't pretend that you like something or you are fond of somebody, but true to yourself. So, as far as the relationships are concerned, as far as affections are concerned, it's better always to be true to oneself. One should not pretend otherwise. Neither be cynical about love. Cynical, believing that people are not good, people are not sincere. So that is cynicism. So the poet says, don't be cynical about love. So don't think that this is a loveless world. There is no true love and all that. But believe in love. In other words, he wants to say, believe in love. For, next line, for means here because, since in the face of all aridity, a condition when everything is dry because of the lack of rain. Okay, state of being very dry, osad. For in the face of all aridity. Now here what is this is a kind of metaphorical expression. It's the condition of the universe minus love. Aridity means here lovelessness. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, disappointment, disillusionment, disenchantment. Okay, disillusionment. That is awareness regarding the reality of this life, and that is something very harsh. So disenchantment is disappointment with the conditions surrounding us. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, in the condition of dryness of emotions, of love and disillusionment, it is a pronoun used for love. It is as perennial, something that is perpetual, something that is eternal, something that is endless, everlasting, perennial. Love is as perennial as the grass is perennial. It's never ending. In the summer season, you might feel that there is no grass, but it is hidden underground. And when there are some early initial showers of rain, it again sprouts. So it is there hidden underground. It is perennial. So here it's a beautiful simile used by the poet for love. So love is as perennial as the grass. Simile is an important figure of speech when two things are compared, and it is a direct kind of comparison. And the words like as or like, they are used to indicate this comparison. So here in this in this section of the poem, the poet focuses upon the eternity of love. So and he is telling us not to be cynical, not to believe that there is no love. Okay, because he feels that love is as perennial, as everlasting, as endless as the grass on the ground. Take kindly the counsel of the years. Counsel, guidance, suggestions, instructions. Counsel of the years. Years is here, it indicates maturity, aging. So he says, take kindly the counsel of the years. We should turn from youth to the middle age, say, or maturity of age in a very dignified manner. He says, take kindly the counsel of the years. In case there are some people who are elder to us and they are suggesting something, we should take their counsel. Gracefully, attractively, in a dignified manner, in an attractive manner, gracefully, surrounding the things of youth. So we should give up, surrender. We should give up the things of the youth, like immaturity, like restlessness, and we should accept the suggestion of the elderly people, counsel of the years, because they are experienced. The age, their life on this earth, in this universe, it has taught them so many things, and it comes by experience only. So what is the duty of the young people then? We should listen to the young people should listen to the elderly people, to the experienced people, to the people who are mature because of age and experience. Gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture, look after, encourage, promote, bring up. Nurture strength of spirit. What kind of spirit? You should be strong spiritually. This is very important. Strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. It's about our mental state. It's about our mental strength, spiritual strength. It's about the willpower. And it is essential to survive, to be there, to exist in sudden misfortune. Because we cannot say what will happen to us the next moment. Life is full of uncertainties. Tomorrow there might be some tragedy in somebody's life, but today one should be prepared for that. And what is necessary, according to the poet? The strength of the spirit. So we should build up within ourselves. We should bring ourselves up in such a manner that we become spiritually, mentally strong people. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you, to protect you, to defend you against all the tragedies, against all the misfortunes, against all the mishaps or the accidents, ill fortunes. Nurture strength of spirit that is necessary to defend you, to protect you against the misfortunes. But do not distress yourself. Do not distress. Distress is to cause anxiety, to get worried, to cause pain, But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Don't get discouraged by the dark imaginings. Dark here stands for evil things in life, for bad things in life, evil or threatening things in life. Imaginings, the thing that we imagine to exist, that something is there. So don't imagine bad things, evil things, and don't get distressed by our evil imagination, by imagining the things that are evil. So don't just think of the bad things. Be positive, as if he wants to say. Be hopeful. Think about the good things. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Beyond a wholesome discipline. Wholesome, healthy, good, beneficial. And discipline is, the discipline, strict behavior. One who values the rules regarding many things in life. So that is a disciplined kind of life. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. But it's a good thing to live a disciplined life. But it should be a healthy discipline, and beyond that, be gentle, be kind, be tender with yourself. So don't be severe to yourself in the name of discipline. Okay, but be gentle with yourself, be kind, be tender with yourself. So this is his way of thinking, and that is how he suggests the readers. You are a child of the universe. He is telling us that you are a child of the universe. You are a product of the universe. You are an offspring, progeny of this universe, this nature, no less than the trees and the stars. As the trees and the stars belong to this universe, they belong to this world. You too belong to this world. You are a part. You as an individual, you are a part of this universe. You are a child of the universe. You have a right to be here. So this whole world is yours, and you have a right to exist here, to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, whether or not you understand this, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should unfold. Make itself clear, open out. Okay, evolve, happen. So the universe is opening out. The universe is making itself clear to you. It is unfolding. It is explaining itself to you. Okay, it has its own way. So what you have to do is, you believe in yourself that you are a part of this universe. You are a child of this universe, as anything like trees and the stars and the birds and everything. Therefore, be at peace with God. The poet is a believer in God, and he says, he's telling the readers, be at peace with God. Whatever you conceive him to be, conceive, to imagine something, to understand something in a special way. So there are many ways in this world, as there are many religions in this world, and their imagination of God is different as per their religious values and their religious imaginings. Whatever you conceive him to be, him, H capital, is for God. So he says, whatever way you think about God, be at peace with God, means believe in God. And whatever your labors and aspirations, labors, hard work, toil, and aspirations, desire, hope, wish, aim, goal, okay, whatever your labors and aspirations. So whatever you do, whatever work you do, and whatever your desire is, whatever your aim is, in the noisy confusion of life, life is full of confusions. Life is full of problems, full of difficulties, full of mysteries. There are so many things that we don't understand. So this is the noisy confusion of life. Life is not clear. Life is a mystery, and there are so many things unknown to us, as there are many things that are known to us. In the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul, but you should be peaceful in your mind, in your soul. In your spirit, you should be peaceful. There should not be any confusion. It is a kind of spiritual, mental stability that he is talking about. And in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul, with all its sham, something that is fake, that is false, bogus, so that is sham. With all its sham, drudgery, hard work, toil, drudgery and broken dreams. It's a fact that not all the dreams come true. There are some dreams that never come true, broken dreams. So life is full of sham. The poet says it's true, it's a fact that life is full of false things. There are so many fake people around us. There are so many fake things that are going on around us. Life is full of hard work. Life is full of toil. And life is full of broken dreams. It's true. It's a fact. But the next line says, it is still a beautiful world. With all its drudgery and sham and broken dreams and mysteries and problems and tragedies, life is still a beautiful world. The world is still something very, very beautiful. So be cheerful. The last two lines say, be cheerful and strive to be happy and try hard to be happy. So this poem is very, very optimistic. It makes us aware that life is full of bad things, but there are many things that are good. It is full of heroism. Though there are treacherous people, but still there are virtuous people. There are good people around us, and they are doing so many heroic deeds. Life is full of dryness, but still life is full of love, which is as perennial, as everlasting, as eternal as the grass. So don't be cynical. He says, believe in the value, in the importance of love, and he says, believe in yourself that you are a part, essential part, integral part. You are a child of the universe, and be peace with God, he says. So he believes in God, and he is telling others to believe in God. You may take it as good things, as a principled way of life, as anything. That is so. This poem is full of optimism and full of hope, and he says, though there are false things, though there are sham things in life around us, though the life is full of hard work, though the life is full of pains, life is full of broken dreams, still it's a very, very beautiful world. And that's why in the last two lines he is telling us to be happy, to be cheerful. Thank you.